30, and there was an appropriate response by Salt Lake City. Honestly, they basically sent everything they had to try and catch it, and they worked incredibly hard with support from aircraft. I think people saw the fixed wing, everything from the tiny airplanes that we have to the very large air tankers, and helicopters doing bucket work. So they gave it a valiant effort. With aircraft, we're kind of able to box it in, but of course, terrain is just difficult. Night sets in, and firefighters are exhausted. So the decision was made to call in the team, and we took command of the fire at about 10:30, I believe. And this is our first morning an operational shift. Crews stayed on it at night, just kind of monitoring it and checking some places where maybe it was pushing, but we didn't see growth, much of any, and minimal fire activity, which we like to see, and we usually see at night. And so the only reason that we've kind of increased our acreage is we were able to fly a drone at 3 a.m. and kind of got a better idea of acreage. So we're calling it approximately 400 acres right now. Crews are on the hill right now. We got 5 engines, 2 crews, a water tender, and they're currently just checking the line, and they'll work interior to try and get all the heat out.
Just to kind of go back and rehash it, what was kind of walk me through in detail the condition of the fire when y'all inherited it?
Sure.
And where we're at.
Yeah. So as the fuels, they dictate the fire, and the hillside is fine, flashy fuels, tends to go really fast and get big very quickly. It also didn't help there was a strong wind on it. And so when we showed up, there were a few elements that showed up early to try and get situational awareness and get it under control. Crews were coming off the hill. A BLM hand crew was able to do a bit of check line on there. We had the evacuations in order, and we had structure elements in the neighborhood. Fortunately, a lot of people did heed the evacuation, and that really helped as far as getting resources in there. The transfer of command was seamless from Salt Lake County to us, and so yeah, we'll go from there.
If you had to kind of give numbers as far as containment from from when y'all started to now, what would those numbers be?
So we're currently still calling it 0% contained, and partially just because with night we didn't have good eyes on it. This morning we certainly want to get people out there to see it and get a sense of what we might have. Typically after a shift like this, we'll meet and we'll kind of discuss and see if we can increase containment at all. But right now we're still sitting at 0% until we really feel confident about some places on the fire. And that goes also for the evacuation orders. We want to make sure that nothing's going to build again and kind of go an unfavorable direction. So we want to make sure that that's all buttoned up before we let people back in.
Got it. That was going to be my follow-up.
Oh, sorry.
For evacuations.
Yep.
And then, what is kind of the goals and hopes for today?
Yes. Yeah, good question. So we kind of have an idea of the box that we've painted that we want to keep it in, and that's certainly north of the Capitol Hill neighborhood, and then south of that comms tower that you can see. Today's plan is really to check that line, get people around it, get assessment of where we should engage. We have 2 divisions, so one on the east end and one on the west end, and those crews hopefully today will be able to kind of work their way in some feet and just put heat out. A lot of the heat that we still have is interior, which tends to be good because it's surrounded by black, and then that'll probably be more of a tomorrow shift, is kind of moving more interior.
And then as far as evacuation orders and things, like, is there any chance of that being lifted today?
That'll be an assessment at the end this evening. I can't say anything for sure. We just want to make sure, that that line that is directly next to those homes, nothing's going to happen there. We'd hate to have to let people in and then kick them back out. So I'd say no real plans for today. We're calling it. We're saying 24 hours still through today, but just stay aware. We'll make sure we get that message out if we do decide to lift them.
Any leads yet on what caused this fire?
So we don't. We have an investigator en route and to do the investigation, but right now we're waiting on that result. We're just calling it unknown at this time.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add, or anything else I didn't ask about?
I think the big thing, right? I think we still see some drones. We're going to have at least 3 helicopters in the air today. So please don't fly your drones. We do have the voluntary evacuation that is south of Dorchester. If people don't have to be in there, we'd ask that you're not in there, just so we have access, and it's also a safety issue too in case something does happen. And then the big long pitch is just for fire safety. It's getting hot and dry. We still have quite a ways to go in the fire season. The 24th is coming up, so just advise people to be smart about that.
All right. I think that's all I got
Okay.
for you. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna go ahead
as long as you got everything you need.
and pause that there.